This was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I can't believe this got 58,000 likes because this was like this. When I saw this, I felt so sad. Once again, I find myself asking the question that some of you in the chat are asking as well, which is, who is this for? Like, who is going to watch this and go, hell yeah, brother, I'm voting for Andrew Cuomo? Cuomo is going to win them all after this one? What is this? I mean, we're going to talk about
De Blasio, you know.
What the he's doing AI ads? Oh God, he is so oh Jesus Christ, he's doing AI slop. Ay, what a shit show this has been. They're just so desperate that they're hitting every racist line that they can. We got friend of the show Pablo Torre discussing how Democrats can brand themselves around economic populism. A lot of folks are saying this. Many people are saying this, folks. Many people are saying this.
Of the bubble that has been sort of branded for them. This whole moment is about, yes, Donald Trump and all the ways in which people were protesting, and that should be the case. It's also about the larger economic landscape. The unifying message that has propelled Mamdani in New York, that has given rise to lots of genuine, I think, instincts of economic populism across America that have sort of corresponded to frustrations in those polls is, what if we said the position here is actually against billionaires, the ultra wealthy, the people rigging the economy, for whom this administration has been their greatest friend? Like, that to me is the moment. I mean, the clean CR thing, I'm with you guys. That is hard to communicate to even those people who are losing subsidies, losing their health care, losing their salaries as government employees. But the whole idea of, what if right now the Democrats brand themselves around that populism in a sincere way? That's the crossing the aisle possibility that I think is quite real, John.
Please cover the Bombers Clippers Kawhi drama. Lol, Pablo did amazing reporting. I did cover it. Speaking of Zohran and condemning Hamas.
No, I don't condemn Hamas, nor do I condemn the Sandinistas, the Viet Cong, the Black...
Okay, dude. Like, what are we doing? We don't have to relitigate this stuff, please. Oh, I'm so tired. All right. Speaking of condom hummus. And yes, I will work on having Pablo on. Zohran Mamdani is doing well. And the better that Zohran Mamdani does in the polls, the worse Andrew Cuomo gets with his campaigning. Let's take a look at this new AI ad that he released.
Hello, it's me, de Blasio. You know, New York City's least favorite mayor. Today, I want to introduce you to my mini-me Mamdani. Hiya! If you thought my policies were evil, you're gonna freaking hate this. Sure will, boss! In 2020, I cut $1 billion from the NYPD, which dramatically spiked crime. But I wanted to fund the police entirely! So evil, so unsafe. My mini-me also wants to cut gifted and talented school programs for kids, just like I tried, until the backlash. There's no such thing as talent! Socialism means we're all equally dumb! Right. And he's even copying my failed rent freeze I tried on millions of units, which ended up plunging the rates of available units and making the housing crunch higher and stop new housing construction, which would actually lower rents. But I'm gonna do the same thing while doing a TikTok dance. And most evil of all, I depoliced sex work, which ended up increasing sex trafficking for women and young girls in New York City. So I'm gonna take it further by decriminalizing prostitution completely.
Wow. Once again, I find myself asking the question that some of you in the chat are asking as well, which is, who is this for? Like, who is going to watch this and go, hell yeah, brother, I'm voting for Andrew Cuomo? I don't understand. I'm sorry to tell you that I found out why Trump gave up on beating Zohran.
I'm officially starting Hot Girls for Cuomo. So if you are a hot girl for Andrew Cuomo.
You are actually correct, because whites will be a minority as a collective by 2060. I mean, whites are already a minority depending on what your definition of whiteness is. To be fair, Hinduism is not fascism. Hindutva is. There's a difference. Wait, what? No, I'm not talking about Hinduism, man. What the? No, I'm talking about Kash Patel. Kash Patel himself is a loyal servant of the fascist administration. I'm not talking about Diwali. I'm just saying you can't shit on Kash Patel for celebrating Diwali when he is a loyal servant of fascism. And then simultaneously expect that you can have this this movement that is going to necessarily be diverse. That's just how America is. What is this? You need to see Matt's quote of this. It's diabolical. Click the link in this quote. Honestly, I was skeptical, but they did a good job with the website. That's awesome. Hotgirlsforcuomo.com takes you to the Attorney General NewYork.gov website. Report of investigation into allegations of sexual harassment by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo. Oh my God. Respect. Free scroll the replies to this Bill Ackman tweet. The Zohran Mamdani campaign is actively working to keep Curtis Lewa in the race. Come on, Ackman, stay in your lane. There's another website at work. What is this? Help me build Hasan Piker 911.com. Thanks to Cuomo at telling people to Google Hasan Piker 911. I went ahead and bought this domain. I want to prop up a simple website for people actually Googling Hasan Piker and 911. Who wants to help with this? I'd like to get something hosting over the next day or two. The goal here is to create an educational one-pager for people who have no idea what's going on. Sections. Who is Hasan Piker? Why would someone say America deserved 9/11? Why is this being brought up by Cuomo? What is Mamdani's stance? Where can I learn more / help Zohran win? Join an org. I also need help with the SEO because I don't know anything about how to do that for a new website. God damn. Getting the smears in at the final buzzer. Why Mamdani frightens Jews like me. Changing the URL. Zohran Mamdani, Israel, Palestine, Jew. Sick. Anyway, what's dumb about this clip is that Zohran has never promised free housing or free transportation. He's promised a rent freeze on rent-stabilized apartments and free puzzles. You still pay for the subway. His agenda is fairly doable if negotiated with Albany. I wish that he could promise free housing and free transportation. That'd be sick. Sweet. I'm in a good ad spot. Very pro Mamdani ad spot. Let's go. For the record, it obviously did not end there. Cuomo is throwing out mailers, or the Cuomo campaign is throwing out mailers. The Michael Bloomberg pack with DoorDash has decided that the Hasan 9/11 stuff is actually really good. Has anyone seen these yet? I had a couple of my friends in New York report to me that they got Instagram ads, and someone sent me the mailer as well. Oh, here it is. Tyson Brody reports amazing fix the city ads on IG. Favorite part is that they have to add 9/11 for Hasan rather than just his name, unlike the other two, because Googling Hasan would just bring up his channel and fans. Google Hasan Piker 9/11, paid for by Fix the City Inc. Executive Director Megan Brown. Top 3 donors Michael Bloomberg, DoorDash, and John Hess. Not expressly or otherwise authorized or requested by any candidate or the candidate's committee or agent. More information at nyc.gov/follow the money. Vote for Cuomo. And then Google Rebecca Kadaga and Google Siraj Wahaj. Why did they say Hasan Piker 9/11? Why didn't they just put my name? That's bullshit. Nothing quite as sad as a super PAC that never landed on something that works, just endless spaghetti at the wall. My meme became real. He kept trying to Google you. Every time I go, I see it. Everywhere I go, I see his face. There are so many people in politics and media obsessed with messaging to a population of Americans that statistically do not exist. It's very gratifying to see Cuomo run his whole campaign around it and just eat relentless shit. Completely true, and yet I would like to hear more. How would you describe this population? Guy who works at a factory but vociferously supports businessmen and the free market, hates socialism, season ticket Israel Maccabees fan, owns a 2-bedroom house, but is intensely invested in landlords' rights for some reason. Only media he watches is News Nation. So have we gotten, have the mailers actually kicked in? Let's look at trends. Trends.google.com. Okay. Hasan Piker 9/11. This is in the past day. Hold on. Past 90 days. Oh, big blip. Big blip. I guess no one searched it. By the way, it's not even Minnesota is searching me more than okay. Little blip on October 7, 8, 9. Only on October 17. Another major blip. Which I suspect is that when the debate happened? Number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Virginia. Number 3, New York. Okay, let's look at Hasan Piker. Okay, nope. Not a lot of motion there. Peaked at October 9th. Mostly in DC. Why is it always DC? It always freaks me out that DC is the number 1 place that is searching me. Every time. Yeah, it's mostly collar, shock collar, dog collar, cruelty to animals, shock. And then at 3rd place is Hasan GQ. And then at 5th place is Hasan Piker GQ. So yeah, it hasn't had the same motion as even Doctober 7 or Shocktober 7 did. The trend for your name, No 9/11, has had his all-time max around October 9th, the Kaya Saga. Yes. What is this? Google. Wait. America deserved 9/11. Hasan Piker's vile comments exposed. Eric Adams for New York City 1 month ago. All right, we gotta tweak the algo, folks. We gotta tweak the algo. Okay, that's what I've learned. And I want to know by not sub-region, but by countries. Not by United States, but worldwide. I wonder where they're searching my name the most. I'm kind of surprised it's not Israel. United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Finland. What is this? You're never beating the allegations? Hasanabi Gaming. We got to put the meat pick up every time people search Hasan Piker or Hasanabi 9/11. That's what we got to do. Well, everybody posts Hasan's meat pick with the words Hasan Piker 9/11, and I'm sure the search results will be super normal next week. Yeah. He has post tasteful nudes as an algorithm reset. That's what I need to do. Anyway, but yeah, that's cool that this is what they're trying to do as a last ditch effort. Very strange. I also don't know who Rebecca Kadaga is. And everything I know about Siraj Wahhaj is that he's just a prominent Muslim religious leader that is important for Muslim New Yorkers, and virtually every single person running for mayor before or after has actually linked up with him. Giancarlo showed me that all of your ops are coming out for Cuomo. Yeah. It's incredible. It's like, look at these scary black and brown people. Look at these scary Muslims. They're all radical. He wasn't, no, Megaphonics DJ, you are wrong. Siraj Wahhaj wasn't an unindicted 9/11 conspirator. He was an unindicted former World Trade Center bombing former unindicted conspirator. As in, it wasn't the 9/11, it was the last time before, it was in the one in 93. Is Megaphonics DJ Megaphonics' other account? What's happening? I feel like this is the type of guy that Cuomo's team is trying to reach out to. Yes, I make pretzels at the mall. I keep the food court exceptionally clean, and the pretzels are fresh, soft, and hot. That alone contributes more to American society than any brown third worlder ever will. This was one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I can't believe this got 58,000 likes. Because this was like this. When I saw this, I felt so sad. And it's like, obviously it's a neo-Nazi, but I still felt kind of bad about it. It's the driest looking, like, I love Auntie Annie's. Okay? I think Auntie Annie's pretzels are crack. But it made me so sad seeing the desperate state of affairs on this pretzel. and just in general, imagining myself in the shoes of this like dumbass racist who's like, I'm broke loser and I hate my life, but at least I'm not a part of the third world or something. Of course, Matthew Castle's in the tank for Cuomo. Yeah, Matthew Castle is a features reporter at Jewish Insider, a big op of mine, big time Hasbara boy. The source of Cuomo's surge in donations suggests many Jewish New Yorkers continue to oppose frontrunners Zohran Mamdani over his positions on Israel and the war in Gaza. They're just so aggressively trying to prop up Cuomo, which is a failure. The thing that I don't understand about like the Google Hassan 9/11 comments, by the way, is that it doesn't do anything to Zohran Mamdani. All it at most, like the maximum impact that it would have is not against Zohran Mamdani, but against me. And if you think I'm your number one op, then you've already lost the election. You know what I mean? Like, because at most, the only thing you get out of this, at most is like Zohran Mamdani will come out and be like, I disavow Hasan Piker, right? He hasn't done so yet. But even if he did do that, which I think it would be a silly thing to do regardless because there's no reason to. But let's say he did that, right? He hit the maximum position here for defense. Okay, he condom hummus, he condom Hasanabi. So that doesn't really do anything to Zohran Mamdani. Maybe it just like makes people think he's like a little bit of a, maybe it shows, at least to myself or maybe some others as well, like that, you know, his instincts on this are led by fear. Okay? Having said that, that's not really going to impact him all that significantly in this race. And all that would do is basically, I don't know, put me in the hot seat for like a week. Right? That's it. And it doesn't make any sense because, like, you're not running against me, dumbass. You know? You're not running against me. You're running against Zohran Mamdani. So it doesn't make any sense. Which is why I keep saying, like, it's very it's just like a really stupid thing for him to keep hammering on. Did you expect to end up being somehow a part of the New York City mayoral election? No, I did not. Like, yeah, it has as much motion as Zohran saying Google Logan Paul suicide forest, except he doesn't even need to do that. He could quite literally be like, you went on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast last week. You know who else went on that podcast? Donald fucking Trump. So like that's a silly line of attack. And even then, he wouldn't actually have to say anything more than Logan Paul. You went on Logan Paul's podcast because Logan Paul is a more known person than me in New York. Do you understand? You wouldn't need to do Logan Paul suicide forest for people to know all of the negative associations with Logan Paul. What? When I search your name on Google, this is what comes up, and it's not even a meme. Hasan Piker is hot. Hasan Piker is flirting with the revolution. Hasan Piker is a tanky. Hasan Piker is so hot. Hasan Piker is Turkish. Hasan Piker, is he married? He reposted a positive response. Yeah, no, I saw he reposted this before. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, no love lost between me and Zohran. It's just very stupid for, like I said, Andrew Cuomo to keep hitting that line over and over again. Let's take a look at this dumb.
Kids don't like capitalism. And I think a lot of it has to do with social media, the clickbait, right? Rage bait works better in.
Or because they know late stage capitalism. That's all they've seen.
Social media and gets more people's attention. And if Mamdani is out there saying, you're getting free housing, you're getting free transportation, you're getting cheaper groceries, I mean, of course, that's what they need, particularly in New York, and that's what they're going to respond positively to.
Is there any way that can work?
No. No, of course not.
No. Look, we have a financial literacy problem.
All right, this is who Flopmala was listening to. True.
Problem problem in America. But the financial literacy problem in America is affecting the politics in America, which is that if you don't understand that if you actually decide that you think rent stabilization is going to somehow increase the supply of apartments and homes in the country, you've got it completely backwards. Because what happens is the developers say, well, if they're going to stabilize the rent in this town, we don't really want to be developing in this town, in which case there's not going to be enough supply, in which case it's going to cost more to rent your apartment. That's just the way it is. And unless people understand that, when a politician stands up and says, excuse me, I'm over here and I'm very happy to give you rent stabilization and the free groceries and this and that, and then it doesn't happen, I think people are going to be in for a surprise.
It's crazy because he knows this shit is possible because he did it with medicine. Mark Cuban is the reason I only pay $30 for epilepsy meds instead of $700. Yeah, I wonder why kids hate capitalism, dude. Just in, Amazon aiming to replace 600,000 jobs with robots by 2033. A bunch of upwardly mobile millennials will be losing their jobs in the mid to late 40s. That'll be good for society. Housing costs will probably go down in Seattle, though. Like every single person who controls the levers of power in this country are actively telling anyone who will listen that they don't give a fuck about you. Okay? They don't give a fuck about you, and you can eat shit and die, and it doesn't matter. You're cooked. Your future prospects are gone, and we threw it away for a crumb of additional profits, right? Why would anybody look at the system and go, oh, wow, I feel really great? If anything, in all of this discontent, in all of this chaos and confusion, I'm fearful that many young people actually look towards an alternative specifically designed around fascism. Like, that's initially what was so alluring about Donald Trump's appeal, especially to young men. That's what it was. Oh, this guy's going to shake things up, and he's going to punish the enemies that the Republicans have identified as the liberal Democrats. Liberal media has grown comfortable with naming the spoiler of the ceasefire. Breaking news. American officials said they were increasingly concerned that Benjamin Netanyahu could dismantle the Gaza peace deal. It seems Netanyahu came around to the liberal position within Israel of faking a ceasefire, getting Israeli captives back, then manufacturing a thin pretense to resume genocide. The open question is whether the White House is part of this ruse or will actually apply meaningful pressure. Again, this is why you've seen 9,000 media mentions about Hamas disarming, e.g. everyone in Gaza with a gun surrendering and welcoming Israeli-U.S. occupation. Because this is the new release the hostages. A bad faith rhetorical bludgeon used to hand wave away endless child killing. Per the agreement, there is zero obligation Hamas disarm in phase 1, but suddenly it's everywhere as a vague liberal moral imperative. Meanwhile, the military that has killed over 20,000 children is a precious defensive army in urgent need of full liberal normalization. I mean, I said this was the worst case scenario. But a lot of people have confidence in Trump for some reason. So all we can do is just wait and see. Meanwhile, Sliwa is staying in the New York City mayoral race.
Mayoral
I'm not
candidates
dropping
are
out.
preparing for the second debate of the general election race tomorrow night.
It comes as a new poll reveals a much closer race if Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa drops out. Let's get right to Good Day's Robert Moses, who joins us more on what Sliwa plans on doing. Good morning, Robert.
So, Shani and Dan, good morning to you. 2 weeks to go until Election Day, and on the eve of the second and final debate and just 4 days before early voting starts, the pressure really is building on Republican Curtis Sliwa to drop out of this race in order to set up that one-on-one matchup between Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo. A survey from AARP and Gotham Polling shows Mamdani and Cuomo in a statistical dead heat. That is, if Sliwa drops out. That's not earth-shattering news because other polls have reached the same conclusion. But yesterday's poll really does provide more fodder to those who see Sliwa merely as a spoiler. Last night at a synagogue on the Upper West Side, Cuomo called Mamdani anti-Semitic and argued his case anew that Sliwa needs to drop out.
He is not a viable candidate to win. He knows that. But he is a viable candidate to make Mamdani a winner. I am hopeful that before the end of the day, he realizes that there's something bigger at stake than his notoriety or his...
Cuomo is far from the only bold-faced name making that argument. Billionaire John Catsimatidis, the CEO of WABC Radio, where Sliwa worked before running, also called on Sliwa to drop out so he doesn't, quote, inadvertently help another candidate, i.e. Mamdani. Sliwa, for about the millionth time in this race, says he's not going anywhere.
Israel shills floated a bombshell revelation that will force Sliwa to drop out. Turns out it's just that he, like most voters, doesn't like the foreign country of Israel very much. These clowns really think Americans are and should be as devoted to this foreign country as they are. Curtis Sliwa will be leaving the New York City mayor's race. He hasn't announced it, but after what I share in the coming hours, he will. Curtis, you are a disgusting, evil man. You thought we wouldn't find out. The people of New York will hate you for this, and rightly so. You are evil. Screenshots of alleged tweets to show wife of New York City mayoral candidate Sliwa blasting Israeli hostage rescue and Gaza deaths. Isn't she Jewish? Isn't Curtis Sliwa's wife literally Jewish? A Jewish New Yorker. No, here's what New York City mayoral candidate Curtis Sliwa and his wife Nancy Sliwa really think of Jews in Israel. In addition to criticizing Israel's June 2024 hostage rescue, accusing Israel of slaughter, and complaining that the ICC should have acted against Israel sooner. Are they trying to beef up Curtis Sliwa's chances? Is that what's going on? What the hell is happening here? Wait, so his wife is anti-Zionist? How is that bad? I don't think she's anti-Zionist. But like, it's just... John Catsimatidis is a part of the billionaire class.
Look, John Catsimatidis is part of that billionaire class. They think that they can pick the next mayor. How did that work out? They went to Cuomo in the primary. Cuomo was up by 40 points. Zohran Mamdani was down at 1%. Zohran Mamdani won the primary convincingly at 13%. So throw the polls right out the door. And secondarily, whatever happened with the people deciding who the mayor should be? So I should drop out. I am the only Republican. I am a designated candidate. The only independent candidate is Andrew Cuomo. You have to go through a maze to find him on the ballot. Let him go out. He gets his people to vote for him. I get my people to vote for me because I have a get out the vote effort. We know Zohran Mamdani did a great job in the primary getting his vote out. There's nothing complicated about this. It's called democracy, the people's right to vote. And the billionaires don't want the people to make this decision. I trust the people, not the political elite and not the billionaires.
Let me ask.
He's so ridiculous, dude. Lamau, this is the big breaking news that was supposed to force Sliwa to drop out. He accused Israel of slaughter. If anything, this will give Sliwa a boost in the polls. Times are changing. Criticizing Israel's very good politics, but Zionists are in denial. Yeah, I feel like they're trying to get people to vote for Curtis Sliwa with this shit. Wait, what is this? This has nothing to do with Curtis Sliwa, does it? Nancy Sliwa, Curtis Sliwa's wife, posts with this gift. Thank you, New York City Mayor, for your strong support of Israel. Throughout the day, I've been monitoring the protests that started in Times Square and that moved through our streets throughout the Israeli consulate. At a moment when innocent people are being slaughtered and children kidnapped in Israel is disgusting. Please leave. Wait, this is not even an anti-Israel response. This is a GIF reply that doesn't even imply that she is like anti-Israel. It just implies that she's anti-Mayor Eric Adams. What the Decolonizing the Hindu mind. Beautiful. An entire Israeli neighborhood gathers on balconies to sing Hatikva, our national anthem. When Indian did it during COVID, the entire left wing mocked us. We will not be broken. What is this? This is not even Curtis Sliwa, by the way. Curtis Sliwa's wife. This was in the Gaza Strip about an hour ago after an Israeli airstrike. Just in case this wasn't already perfectly clear to anyone, life is not for playing games. Not amongst those animals who drop bombs on innocent folks, I guess. Okay, maybe, wait, what the October 9th, 2023? Okay, maybe she is actually anti-Israel. That's what happens when you hide hostages among your civilians and then indiscriminately bomb both. Very intuitive. Oh my God. Hey, yo. Children stabbing police in Jerusalem, just so appallingly sad. What's your point? What the Is Curtis Lewa's wife anti-Israel? What? The first couple of responses don't actually mean anything. Oh, this is what. Oh my God. November 9th, 2023. Noam knows what he's talking about. This is the video.
A truce accord is established. Hamas lives up to it. Israel violates it, never keeps up to it. Finally, Israel escalates its violation. That elicits some kind of Hamas.
Okay, I was wrong. Oh my God. Nancy Sliwa unironically is openly anti-Israel. Curtis said his wife was a Bernie supporter in 2016. Oh my God. Maybe he wasn't wrong when he said she was the best thing to happen to him. What the Former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani wrote to me on X on behalf of the Sliwa campaign. I asked him a basic explanation of Sliwa's supposed path to victory. He has not responded. Something strange is going on. Republicans, we need to ask questions. This is disturbing. Link below. Excuse me, don't speak for me. You're a propagandist. Israel made it clear. Release the hostages or we'll keep fighting. Children died as a result. Children, you absolutely disgusting propagandists, died because Hamas leaders living lavishly did not care. Instead of hating on me, focus your hate on Hamas leaders living in wealthy Middle East cities who let the people in there. Okay, so she's like anti-Israel and anti-Hamas. Like, die because they refuse to release the hostages, many of them young. If you want to fight me, that's a joke. Shame the Hamas leaders who allow Hamas to have their Hamas. Okay. Oh. No, she is chatters. She called Israel animals who bomb civilians. She definitely is not pro-Israel. Okay? She literally, on October 9th, when many of the people who are chirping in here right now were also yelling at me about maybe going a little too hard on Israel, she was going hard on Israel just as hard as I was. So yeah, she's not like an anti-Zionist or perhaps she's not like pro-resistance against Israel, but clearly she is anti-Israel. This is the radical centrism we were talking about. Only perfect candidates off the Harvard Law conveyor belts, please. Highly disciplined, all boxes checked, well-liked and humble. Absolutely no spiritual connection to having physical body except for severe IBS. Volunteered to soup kitchen in high school, signs, emails, cheers, etc. Dude, the Podjons are going crazy mode on Graham Plattner. They are... Dude, this gives me a little bit of confidence amongst the libs, especially considering that there is an alternative out there, okay? There is very clearly a centrist alternative out there, and they're not taking it, even after this dude had a Nazi tattoo. What the That's crazy, man. That's nutty. No shit, he's white, man. Isn't it kind of sus, though? I don't, you're the friend who's too woke now. Centrism is a death sentence. I'll take dumb fucks who don't know what tattoo they're getting with leftist economic policies over centrist neolibs every single day. I just think that like anti-Israel left flank Democrat candidate being defended by the Obama speechwriters as opposed to the centrist Democratic establishment handpicked candidate Janet Mills is crazy. If you can't see it, I don't know what to tell you. This actually gives me a little bit of confidence. I don't think it's just because he's a white man. I think it's because liberals want people to win and fight, and they think Graham Plattner is going to do that for him. Like him being a white man probably plays a role as well, because like liberals also always assume that white men are more likely to win elections than like any other minority group, even including like minority identity liberals. My goat is washed. 5 years ago, you would have taken that as evidence that Plattner is not a real leftist. I don't think that's the case, especially considering that the opposition research that you're seeing, the Oppo stuff that you're seeing, is not just about the Nazi tattoo. That's new. They've been doing this since he came out, since his Reddit post came out, and he was talking about how he's a commie. It's because of the Nazi tattoo? No, this is before the Nazi tattoo as well. They've been defending his ass. I think I don't know, man. I want to see the positive side of this. And I think the positive side of this is that there are liberals out there who don't give a even when there's a centrist alternative, a safe bet, okay, that checks all the boxes, long, storied career as governor in the same state. Do you not hear what I'm saying? Are all the people mad about Plattner because they're not convinced he's a real leftist? People in this chat. Anyway, my biggest fear overall is that this spells bad decision making for Plattner, and that he is malleable potentially once in office, and I do worry about that. Nancy Sliwa has replied to you before. Shut the fuck up. Bro, you cannot be a communist if you have a totem cloth tattooed on your chest. Brother, I don't think he's a communist, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I think liberals are basically looking at this. I think liberals are basically looking at the situation and they're like, Donald Trump is a pedophile and he stole the election. I would vote for a dude with a totem cloth on his chest if I believe that he is going to be a better alternative than the centrist old person. And it's literally, unironically, the old people that voted for centrist their whole life saying this shit. Like, something is shifting in the water, okay? That's all I'm saying. It feels like older liberals, maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like older liberals who have spent most of their formative years backing vote blue no matter who, harm reduction narratives, okay, are thinking to themselves, no, I think like I don't really give a shit about any of the red flags. He says he wants to do Medicare for all. He says he's going to be like a real one, a real salt of the earth kind of guy. I'm with it. I think a bunch of liberals who are willing to overlook a Nazi tattoo on the chest of a former hoorah jarhead are probably going to be way more enthusiastic about a person who doesn't have any of that baggage and doesn't have any of those red flags, but is also abiding by a left populist policy platform. That's good. People who say, we're not taking candidates all around the country that say, I'm not taking any money from big donors. I'm not taking any shit from the establishment Democrats and Chuck Schumer, fuck Hakeem Jeffries. Like, people who say stuff like that seemingly are people that the liberals in the Democratic Party's primaries are now looking for. This is a big shift. You're correct. My mother has come around to what I've been saying about the Dems, and she refused to do so before the election, even after for a while. Now she's furious with the Dems and their dumb shit. The vote blue no matter who liberals. Hasan, stop making predictions. Plattner's not going to be a socialist. He's absolutely going to be a secret Nazi and pull a Fettermanship. First of all, I never said he was going to be a socialist. As a matter of fact, I said his horrible decision-making process shows me that he's malleable and most likely not going to be that. But secondly, I don't understand, like, what's going on? Does it matter what I say at all? Or do you guys just hear what you want to hear and then get mad? For years and years, I have emphasized the importance of fighting fascism, fighting Nazis, and talked about how if Democrats want to win, they can't just rely on harm reduction narratives. They must have a strong and committed response to bringing about radical change. And now it seems like the liberals are coming to that conclusion on their own, not because they heard me or anything. It's not like these Barbaras and Debras are listening to me. As a matter of fact, all the people who are listening to me are looking at the situation and they're like, nah, fuck that. Barbaras and Debras are actually voting for him because he's a psyop by the CIA to actually eviscerate the leftist movement that was actually really robust and really threatening the order of capital that has been calcified in every American institution in perpetuity. That's like, which one do you think is more likely? Do you think that the liberals are looking at like left populist candidates and going, no, that's actually probably a better alternative than the centrist Democrats, and I want that because I don't want Republicans to win any longer? Or do you think they are doing the other thing where they're like, I love that this is a CIA psyop designed to actually destroy the left, which I simultaneously believe is scary, but also is causing so much terror? It's probably the first thing, don't you think? This goes back to my former suspicions and something that I've said quite a bit, which is that vote blue no matter who Democrats don't actually vote against the party. Straight ticket Democrats are only told, they're told that electability is the reason why you need to vote for these shitty centrist liberals. Okay? The electability argument is the reason why they think that centrism is the appropriate measure. But defeat after defeat, it seems, especially in those last round with Kamala Harris, especially with Donald Trump winning again, and this time winning the popular vote as well, has caused a bunch of liberals to really take a cold, hard look at the establishment media and the way they've messaged around electability arguments and centrism. And it has made them actively very critical of the lackluster efforts, the non-existent resistance efforts from the Democratic establishment. And it's caused them to unironically turn around and say, we need more Zohran Mamdanis. I think they are coming to that conclusion, and not because of people like myself. Okay? Democrats emphasizing the Plattner Oppo dump are the same ones who are supposedly concerned about the party losing young men to the right. Maybe rewarding contrition would be good politics if you want to bring radicalized young men to your side. Liberal censoriousness is toxic. Is angry white libs latching onto the first person who looks like a white savior who will fight more than the current Dems? It's still racist, but it's in resistance to Trump, so now we got to push him further left. Yeah, my point is, this is not even about Graham Plattner, even though if Graham Plattner wins, if Graham Plattner wins, it is a direct response to all of the electability arguments that centrist neoliberals have actually presented to the rest of the country, constantly claiming, well, you know, Zohran Mamdani can win or AOC can win in New York because New York is woke and gay. But try that in a red state. Try that in a purple state. Try that in a swing state. You can't do that. All of a sudden, if a guy like that, regardless of all of his, in spite of his red flags, is capable of winning the election and unseating a Republican, oh my Lord, that means every single national Democrat who has been a lifelong blue ticket voter that despises Donald Trump is going to look at that and go, yeah, actually, this was all the electability arguments that the neoliberals were presenting were bullshit. The establishment, we need more Bernie-style candidates. Okay, just as Zohran was proof of concept for digging in your heels on your policy positions and not compromising on certain things that the population also agrees with you on, and getting rewarded handsomely for it with an underdog candidacy against a dynastic politician, a dynastic family name in New York in a Democrat primary. Okay? The very fact that Zohran Mamdani cut away from an incredibly heavily populated field of 16 other candidates, made a name for himself, and actually won by larger margins than Eric Adams did, implies that there's something there. There's something there about focusing on issues, okay? Being issue specific, being and refusing to be defined by how your opposition defines you, and instead setting the standards for yourself. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. The Bernie method. The friction you are feeling from this community is that you teach chat not to take politicians' word for granted. You have said today that the words he has changed, but there is no hard evidence of that other than words. Yeah, because he's not the campaign messages I don't give a fuck about. It's the Reddit stuff that I think is more consequential. Unless you literally think that he actually set up a PSYOP Reddit to imply that he had like a genuine shift in his policy and his worldview and his attitude, became a Michael Brooks fan who radicalized him, became a Majority Report fan, and personally had this change, and he was just like posting on subreddits constantly as like a super woke guy. Okay, unless you think all of that was build up for this election cycle where they're actually using that build up against him. They're actually using all the statements that he made on Reddit against him to say he's not a moderate. When you said, I thought you said you don't care about his Reddit. No, I don't care about shit he said in 2013 on his subreddit, as opposed to shit he said in 2020. I personally think him not committing to a more radical position when asked about whether he's a communist or a socialist or whatever, when he goes, oh, I'm a small business owner, that is bad instincts, because that in and of itself actually shows that he's like trying to moderate his position more so than the other stuff. Because what you say in private as a politician with a Reddit history, I think is more consequential than what you say in public when you're trying to win an election. I ain't reading all that, not voting for a Nazi. Well, you're not from Maine anyway, so I don't think you have to, like, yeah, and that's perfectly valid. But I don't know why you're saying this. In any case, I care more about across the board. All right, you got it, buddy. It's fine. No one is making you vote for him. Is that such a weird position? No, I didn't say you should vote for him at all. It's not a weird position. Stop making me vote for him. I'm going to illegally vote for Janet Mills. You guys already know my position on this. I'm going to illegally vote for Janet Mills. I'm endorsing Janet Mills. I'm a Mills militia. I'm Mills Mafia. I'm Mills Militia. I want a 79-year-old former governor to take over that seat and then lose to Susan Collins in the general. That's what I want. You need a heavyweight to beat a heavyweight. The Janet series, rise the f*** up. That's right, baby. I don't get it. Because the lib is pro-ICE, pro-Israel, didn't sign labor laws, pardon a rapist. So these people are here to argue with you to just not vote. Yeah. It's the broader scope of this conversation is exactly what we were talking about before, which is people with no like viable alternative, no viable method for change, who simply just want to criticize whatever the I'm saying. And it's not even like what I'm actually saying, like the broader picture or anything like that, but it's quite literally what they misunderstand about what I'm talking about. Regardless of what happens with Graham Plattner, it's good that liberals are even willing to overlook insane shit like a dude with a Nazi tattoo, as long as they have presented themselves as like a strong, like, because right now in the polls he's cooking. Okay, he's cooking in the polls. Why should we expect to be actively supporting him though? I'm Jewish and cannot support a dude who killed children and got a Nazi tattoo as an adult. Did I say that? I didn't. Because at the end of the day, your support and my support, which is not expected at all, doesn't fucking matter. Okay? I think we like to see ourselves as more relevant in this conversation than we actually are. I'm not saying you should support the guy. He has a totem cough on his chest. If you don't support him, you don't support him. It is what it is. Having said that, the thing that actually gives me a little bit of confidence is that liberals support him when there is a viable centrist alternative hand-selected by the establishment Democrats. A lot of people are not hearing what I am saying. Okay? Every single person in here, including the Mainers, could actively not support Graham Plattner. But as long as liberals do, I think that's a sign for better things to come. Because next time around, there is going to be a candidate who is running on a left flank ticket, who is going to say the same things that Graham Plattner is saying, and won't have the insane background. Okay. And guess what? I suspect liberals will be going along with that candidate too, as opposed to whatever centrist pick there is. Your support does matter, Hasan. It matters. Your minority fans and those. Dude, this is literally the Your support does matter, Hasan. It matters to your minority fans and those of us from the third world that know victims of Blackwater Mercs and U.S. imperialism. Oh my God. This is Radlib tendencies, but this time in an anti-imperialist slant. What the is happening? What is going on? What is happening here? Okay, well, don't worry about it. All right. If you're living in the third world, the main Democratic primary unseating Susan Collins is not going to move the needle in any direction for you. Okay, you understand that, right? Because it's not like Susan Collins is like a radical third worldist, a Maoist third worldist, and neither is Janet Mills. So from your perspective, from your background, the output is all the same. America's war machine continues. Okay? Like this is just someone trying to make an argument against a position that I'm not even holding. Okay? I'm genuinely convinced 80% of chat is selectively deaf today and think that you've been constantly endorsing this guy and should just reading the general attitude of liberals. Yeah, I'm happy with what liberals are doing. Anyway, New York City mayoral election is in 2 weeks, and that's going to prove to Mainers that this Plattner guy who says some of the same things can win. It'll be over after that. Time to get over it, chat. Yeah, exactly. But ultimately, it's a good thing that liberals are like, I don't give a f-. No matter how insane a person or how irredeemable a person's background is. Especially, and I think this is the most important aspect of this, there is a centrist establishment-backed candidate, and I ain't hear no liberals that watch Pod Save America talk about how Janet Mills is the best option for Maine. What are we doing here? It's crazy. So hell yeah, I say to the libtards. I love them. I love liberals and I hate the left. I am a liberal now. That's it. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Mills Mafia. I'm a janissary, but if the liberals themselves are seeing an alternative vision here, if the liberals themselves are seeing an alternative vision here in Grand Plattner, then good on them. I think that there is a systemic shift here, and I like it. Half liberals were brain broken by the electability false narrative of the Clinton campaign. Once leftists win in the Trump era, it'll be a new day in that electability calculation that libs assess over. Yeah. Yep. Your perfect radical centrist Dem candidate. Yeah, I already mentioned. I already saw this meme. This is it. This is the guy. This is Grant Plattner, dude. Please don't make it look like all it takes a bit of irony to win the left over to the libs. Wait, what? What? This isn't about electability, though. Dude has a Nazi tab, man. Like, come on. You can't just write us off as electability. Wait, what? Brother. It's perfectly valid if you think that a dude that has a totem cough is just a bad candidate. But it's not up to either of us. The assessment is now in the hands of the Democratic politicians, or not the Democratic politicians, the Democratic Party voters in Maine. Okay? Please let me move on from this story. I'm not saying you have to hug and kiss Grant Plattner. I don't care. I don't care. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not listening to what my words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay? We will... Socialism will win with the Podjons, okay? Seemingly. The Podjons are here. They will form the mass line. They will form the real proletarian vanguard, okay? It's outside of our hands now. It's not anything we can do. The Podjons are restoring the former glory of the Communist Party of Deutschland, okay? The true anti-fascist contingency. Hasan Reaction is one of the best ones in the React channel.